Hey guys, welcome to Zelda Universe TV, it's Zelda time. Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of the Mailbag. I'm Bastian, your host. I'm sorry that this mailbag is so late. Actually, somebody else was supposed to have done this 2 weeks ago, but things have come up and that's not exactly always possible. So here's a 2-week late mailbag for you. Also, on a personal note, it's suddenly crazy warm here in my hometown, and I didn't want to turn a fan on because that's super noisy, so hopefully I'm not completely drenched in sweat by the end of this. So our first question comes from Wii U Mad. Wii U Mad 24, who says, Bastian, what do you think about Nintendo remaking Zelda 2 in a 2.5D side-scroller? Kind of like New Super Mario Bros. Or Castlevania Dracula X for the PSP, which is a remake of Rondo of Blood. So maybe I'm not quite understanding what 2.5D is, but the way that I think of it as is that you're actually able to move forwards and backwards in the foreground, not just side to side. And I don't necessarily think something like that would work so well for Zelda. I think if they were going to do a remake of Zelda 2, then maybe they should just do a very faithful version of it as a side-scroller, but then have really beautiful, like, hand-drawn graphics, or maybe paper Zelda style or something. But my personal preference would be if they did it as like a overhead style, like regular old school Zelda games. That would help reintegrate it back into the series, I feel, and sort of help elevate it beyond that black sheep status. Our next question comes from Bokoblin, who says, if the Temple of Time in Ocarina of Time is just outside of Castletown, and in Twilight Princess it's in Foreign Woods, does this mean that the Castletown has moved or something? My personal opinion on the situation is, yes, it's not so much that Castletown was moved, but when you look at the Temple of Time and its surrounding areas in Twilight Princess, it's clear that this is an existing building that has now fallen into ruin. And in the entire area of woods around it, there are all of these other ruins that sort of signifies that there was a much larger structure that has also fallen into ruin. This seems clear to me that the Temple of Time and that a Hyrule Castle that we know and love from Ocarina of Time has been destroyed at some point between Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess, and that they've built a new one, shifted a little bit elsewhere. Next question comes from Hero of Mask, who says, Dear Cody, would you rather have a 2-player co-op main Zelda game where Link from Ocarina of Time and Link from Skyward Sword has to battle together to beat Ganon and Vatsy, or Skyward Sword final boss, don't want to spoil her name? Well, that's a pretty interesting question. Let's ask Cody. Cody?
Hello everyone, I'm Cody Davies from Cody Davies TV. Also be sure to subscribe to my channel at Cody Davies TV 2 and Cody Davies TV 3 as well, but also Cody Davies TV 4 and 5 and 6 while you're at it. And also, for some strange reason, I'm an Australian who talks with a British accent. I don't understand it either. But to answer your question, should Link also team up in a co-op style with another Link from another series? Well, that doesn't really make much sense because Zelda's all about the single-player experience. They've experimented with this, with 4 Swords and 4 Swords Adventures, and we see how that's turned out. So, no, really, I think they should probably just leave Link by himself, not teamed up with some sort of grandfather or future grandson-in-law, second twice removed on the mother's side or anything. That just wouldn't make sense. Leave Zelda as a single-player experience. I hope that's answered your question. Cody out.
Thanks, Cody. So, our next question comes from Sam Vavison, who says, Hey ZU, in Ocarina of Time, the timeline split between the child dimension and the adult dimension. Do you think that a different dimension was created in Majora's Mask every time Link went back in time? No, but only because Hyrule Historia would have indicated otherwise. We would have seen a timeline that had 500,000 splits, and instead we've only got the 3. And then you'll notice that the Ocarina of Time, the Song of Time, kind of works a little bit differently in Majora's Mask for some reason. Maybe because it's in that alternate dimension that Termina takes place in. I guess my answer is no. Just the 3 timelines, not 500 million. Our next question comes from Jamaica2001, who says, how come Impa in Ocarina of Time doesn't have the same trait to kill enemies that Impa from Skyward Sword has, as seen in the credits of Skyward Sword? So if you guys haven't finished Skyward Sword, or haven't seen that cutscene, I'm not going to reveal exactly what she's referring to, or he is referring to, but yes, Impa seems to have some sort of trait that we've never seen from any other incarnation of Impa before. Why is that? Well, because they're not the same Impa. I don't think we're expected to believe that the Impa from Skyward Sword is the same person as the Impa from Ocarina of Time. They're not exactly the same person. For instance, the Impa from the original Legend of Zelda and Zelda II: The Adventure of Link is a decrepit old woman, and I can't imagine her doing any ninja-y style Shikaku, so they're all different. And then our final question comes from Surtex47, who says, question, do you think the next 3DS game is A Link to the Past, or related to it, or do you think it's a whole new game? This is slightly tricky because Miyamoto has explained that he's very interested in doing a remake of A Link to the Past. Then, just recently, out of nowhere, he says, well, I'd be really interested in doing a game that's somehow related to A Link to the Past in some sort of way, but didn't give any specifics. So, whether that's going to be a remake, or whether a heavily redone remake with a lot of things changed, or whether he means that to be a sequel, which I personally don't think is what he's talking about, or just if all he means is something in sprites and an overhead style, then yeah, that seems to be what he's really passionate about doing right now. So I think that whatever that is, that's probably the next Zelda game that's going to be for the 3DS. But we also know that they're already working on a Zelda game for the Wii U. As far as what that could possibly be, I don't think that has anything whatsoever to do with A Link to the Past. So we'll have to wait. Maybe they'll even announce something at this coming E3. And we'll see what's going on with Zelda Wii U. Okay, guys, well, that's been it for this week's mailbag. Again, really sorry that it took 2 weeks to get to you. Hopefully, we'll be having some mailbag presenters coming up soon who will make sure to get that out a little more regularly. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be one of them. This is actually my last mailbag that I'm doing. I'm going to no longer be editing news at Zelda Universe by the end of the month, so be sure to subscribe to my channel. This is actually a brand new channel I've set up. It's called Bastian Time. And so anyways, I hope you guys follow me over there, and I'll see you for this week's Zelda news in a few days. Bye! Thanks, Cody. So our next question comes from Sam Vodison, who says, hey, ZU, in Ocarina of Time, the timeline